amazing experience. Oh my gosh, like it's really cool to see like the moms letting their kids like run around the rocks and everything. I feel like my mom would be like screaming at me if I was like on the edge. So, super cool to be able to climb this little famous mountain in Boulder, kind of like Rock Stone Mountain in Atlanta, just kind of a local thing. It's pretty cool.
Everyone's there. Yeah. Elias.
But here we're on top of Mount
Elias.
Sanitas. This is Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah. So we're heading down.
Denver.
You know where you're going?
Go ahead, Karen. There's buildings over there. And with that, my phone's going to die, so I need to go ahead and get back to my car. But I was meditating on top of the mountain and was able to have like a release of endogenous DMT. I could taste it. Was a breath work of inhale for 3, like, and then hold at the top, and then inhale one more time. And then the goal was to lower my shoulders and relax my body before the next exhale. And then the exhale came from the restriction of the back of the throat with the shoulders still down. And all of a sudden, click, just an instant release of like what felt like mucus, but tasted like acrid, like similar to what had happened at the DMT breathwork seminar, convention I had been to in Houston. It was just like that, except that one in Houston was a little bit stronger because I could taste it and I could also smell it, but it was coming from like behind my sinuses very clearly, and there was like a drip of liquid that went down the back of my throat, which they call the nectar. This is referred to as the nectar or samadhi in Sanskrit and in Buddhism. You taste this nectar, and that is supposed to be like. And so the first time that ever happened, I could smell it. This time I could smell it and taste it, but it happened really fast because I immediately just started swallowing. But I was aware of what was taking place, and so I was able to meditate through it, and felt like a form of ego death. Very similar to having an ego death experience or some other experience where you feel like you're having an ego death, but it happens in the moment of realization and the moment of meditation, and it can be induced by psychedelics, but when you do it through meditation, there's a bit of a different integration, so that was super interesting, but I was just really proud of that one moment being able to exhale with my shoulders down, and now like they're just down right now, and I'm super grateful because the whole goal is pretty much to mitigate spinal pain. That helps me sort of ground myself a little bit and remember what the goal is. Remember that I do this as a form of like healing. So to be able to bring my awareness back to my spine helps a lot. And then while doing breathwork techniques and meditation, all of a sudden having the like DMT release, rather like the samadhi or whatever that is called, that nectar, is super cool. Just super really cool moment of lucid awareness. And my shoulders are down. It helps a lot too to be in the presence of other people, because I feel like a lot of my anxiety does come from being around other people, or rather maybe subconsciously I just kind of hold a lot of tension. So to be able to have that meditative experience just now, kind of like after pushing up the hill, it was really cool because I feel like I was able to get into like a deep part of like the somatic healing in that one instant, just through the. I'm gonna see if I can reenact it. I'm gonna show you guys what I just did, and I'm gonna talk you through it so that you can try to do the same thing. All right, so sit in a comfortable position, seated position. I'm kind of scrunched up here, but we're gonna do this. Okay, so I prefer a cross-legged position, but I'm not in a perfect cross-legged position because I'm holding my phone, but this is how I did it just now, just sitting up on that rock. All right, so I sat in my yoga position, kept my hands together down here, and I was meditating on the tip of my nose, kind of circulating back and forth between the third eye and the nose. I'm kind of aware of everybody around me, so I kept going to my peripherals, but kept coming back to the point of the nose. And kept my fingers tied in like this, and the thumb, instead of just kind of curling in, I pointed them up to focus on the third eye. And then I inhaled, I held, and then I inhaled one more time, one more sip of air, and then I hold. Just like that. So I'll do it again. But the goal is when you exhale, your shoulders will want to come up like this, and then you'll exhale. But keep them down, and it's going to take a restriction of the back of the throat, but you should be able to release the exhale without lifting your shoulders to do it. So inhale again all the way to the top, and then sip a breath of air, hold until it's uncomfortable, and then as soon as it's uncomfortable, using the diaphragm and the abdomen, push the air out without bringing your shoulders up. So inhale. So that time, I huffed out more than I actually exhaled. It was more of like a puff. But the whole goal is to keep my shoulders down. So inhale. So that time my shoulders came up a little bit, but it was a little bit softer on the exhale. So I feel like being not in a full lotus position kind of affects that. So I'm going to do a couple more rounds, and if I post this video on YouTube, which I most likely will, then I'll have on this caption right here the inhale and the exhale time. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few rounds on my own, and I will guide you in the text below. It was about 3 rounds, and I noticed something, that this is something I've been working on for many years, and I have breakthroughs. So this is one of the first times I'm really recording one of those breakthroughs, and what I'm noticing, just taking notes, is that the energy is coming from the back of my head, from the back of my spine on the exhale. And if you look at charts, there are charts that say that the inhale circulates from the front, the exhale circulates from the back. So the muscles in the body, from the front of the body, they activate, and then to exhale, the muscles in the back of the body activate. So it's a circular motion, circular breathing. And that circular breathing is the awareness, the conscious awareness, moving through the body. So the chi, the pranayama, and the prana moving through the body. Inhaling up, and then exhaling, circulating it down, back and down. So up in the front of the spine, all the way to the top. And then on the exhale, starting from the crown of the head, relaxing the back of the head, like the scalp, the muscles in the face, the muscles in the back of the head, relaxing the muscles in the back of the neck, so that when you exhale, it's almost as if you're making like a almost like a grunting sound, but it's not necessarily a grunt. It's more like so ujjayi is what it's called in Sanskrit. But I keep the back of my throat restricted, and I focus my energy on the back of the scalp, pushing down, in which case the back of the muscles engage, keeping the shoulders down. So this is a huge breakthrough for me. But the inhale, inhaling, filling up the diaphragm, and then holding while still keeping the shoulders down. And then on the exhale, being aware of the awareness, or the prana, or the chi, exhaling through the back of the throat with the ujjayi breath, engaging the back of the scalp, the back of the neck, and the back of the spine. Your shoulders stay down. So you can inhale with the diaphragm instead of going like this, right? It's inhale from the chest, inhale from the diaphragm, hold. When you sip one more breath of air, you can bring your awareness from the tip of your nose to the third eye, and then as you exhale, the breath will constrict in the back of the throat, which is how you create that ujjayi ocean-like sound. Then the back engages, the neck engages, and the scapular movement takes place where your shoulders go down as you exhale, instead of having to come up in order to push the air out. You're actually pushing the air out using your diaphragm and your core. And it's all through spinal awareness. And for someone like me who's had spinal injuries before, needless to say, my breathing has been impacted by that, which of course just leads to more discomfort or unease. So in my healing journey, being able to overcome spinal injuries while still maintaining a meditative practice or yogic practice has helped me to be able to have personal breakthroughs when it comes to my conscious awareness and even my physical well-being. Being able to holistically and somatically heal from trauma, psycho-emotional childhood trauma, and even physical trauma, the memory of the injuries, through breath work. And now it's not just to say that the body is a machine, right? The mind has an experience. So through breath, I have moments, breakthroughs. It happens maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, if I'm really working on my breath work, where you have that release of the DMT, and there's a moment of conscious awareness, conscious elevation, an ascension of consciousness, or an elevation of awareness. And that is the mind's experience. And when you're doing breath work and you release endogenous psychotropic neurochemicals like DMT, serotonin, oxytocin, even cortisol and norepinephrine can be used for the process of awakening or conscious awareness or the elevation of mindfulness. But through breath work, through somatic healing, you can have these moments of conscious awareness, of vivid lucidity and things like this. Not just through dreaming and things like that, but actually being awake. In that moment, I actually felt like I was dying, right? Like it feels like a death. When all of a sudden I smelled and tasted this pop. It's like a little pop. and the ego just dissolves. And when the ego dissolves like this, you feel, for a moment, the body is like, wait, am I dying? And it's like, wait, no, you're not dying. You're just becoming aware. And that awareness, it challenges the ego's perception of itself. Because the ego believes that it is an individual separate thing from its environment. But the self is fully aware and is fully conscious. And therefore, when the self becomes aware or awakens in the body, there's a moment where the animal body, the ego, takes a second to assess whether or not it's in danger. And the moment you realize you're not in danger, even in the moment of death, there is this peace that overcomes the person, the body, the mind. And that peace is intelligent, all-knowing, aware. And it is also transcendental and divine. And so when you have that experience, when you personally have that experience, it leads you to finding the path towards liberation. It's like waking up from a dream to realize you're still in the dream, you know? But now you know you're in the dream. So, I'm gonna walk you guys through that one more time. There's a lot of words for just 1 millisecond, but that's how I did it. I breathe in, hold at the top, hold it until I can't hold it anymore, hold it until I count to 3, and then on the exhale, and then while you're holding the breath, you're also relaxing the body. So your shoulders come down, relaxing the body. Even though you're holding your breath, you're not panicking, you're not trying to hold the breath in order to be powerful, right? The idea is to hold the breath, not panic, and then relax the body. And then as soon as the shoulders go down and you're ready to exhale, exhale without raising the shoulders. So I'll do it again. I'm not in full lotus pose. I'm in a kind of awkward position right now, but I recommend going into a lotus posture, sitting cross-legged. I hope you guys can hear that, because this is really a new thing for me. This is like I've done this for years, but this is like definitely a profound moment for me. But I hope you can hear it. And one thing I'm noticing is that when I'm ready to exhale, if I don't want my shoulders to go up, right, hunching my shoulders towards my ears, then I have to lift my chest, the sternum, up as I exhale. So I hope you can see this, but I'll try to explain it while I'm doing it. So inhale, right, shoulders come up. Inhale one more time. Hold, relax. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Inhale one more sip. Hold again, relax the body. Exhale. Shoulders stay down.
Totally sounds Scandinavian to me.
So one more time.
The other two kids are
No instructions.
Right.
Hogan and Keith.
Yeah, no, tens is totally. It's like just the choice of letters, like the ENZ, I feel like,
Oh, okay.
is like a Scandinavian.
So, I mean, in a way, there's some force behind that exhale from the back of the throat, from the back of the spine, from the back of the neck. But what I'm not doing, which is significant if you've been in my position before, if you've struggled with this before as well, is hunching my shoulders towards my ears as I exhale. So this is what we normally do. When we hold, maybe we'll relax. But then when we do, we exhale. Right? That's not natural. That's not a natural breath. Inhaling, filling the chest, filling the diaphragm. Shoulders don't raise. Then holding, sipping one more breath of air. Rack spine, move, belly in. Well, my shoulders are down. My spine is relaxed while I'm holding my breath in the inhale. Relaxing the spine while I inhale. And then as I exhale, constricting the back of the throat while still maintaining the relaxation of the spine. So even then my shoulders still went down a little bit. So one thing I'm noticing is that with the angle of the camera, I'm looking down. But what my yoga teacher and my mentor taught me in Guatemala, one day after I was in Ashtanga, I thought I was in some sort of trance or whatever. And I was just exhausted. From training for weeks, every day, 6-7 hours a day, I was exhausted. So I'm sitting there in meditation after Ashtanga, right, in full lotus pose, and I just let my whole body relax.
You see like a big opening in the spot?
And I toss the back of my head back, and I go like this. And for some reason, I thought that meant I had attained samadhi. I thought meant I had reached that state of total detachment. And in a way I had. In a way I had detached from the body, from the awareness of everybody else around me, because I didn't care. I pretty much was just there in front of everybody. I didn't care. But that was not what I had just experienced now. And so my teacher, he told me, and this is how I knew he was right, and that I had not reached what I thought I had just reached. Because when I had done it before, without documenting it, top of my head was facing up. What I had mistaken with my teacher when I was sitting there after class with my head back and my mouth open towards the sky. The crown of my head was not facing the sky, and that is how he knew that I had not actually reached this state, and he was right. Because it's not just a state of mind, it's actually something physiological. And I just experienced it. And the key difference was when I remembered what he had told me, to keep the crown up instead of pointing forward or down or even too far back. The moment I did that, I was able to connect with my breath on a deep enough level to be able to not only keep my shoulders down on the exhale, which is huge and significant, but I also was able to release endogenous DMT from the sinus cavity, from behind the olfactory gland. Because as soon as it released, as soon as it popped, this fluid drained from the back of my sinuses and down my throat, and I drank it like water. And this is referred to as like a nectar, but it is physiological. And it is known that the brain does have endogenous DMT behind the olfactory gland, and it is produced by the pineal gland. And so
I sent the vibe out there. And
When
everyone
you
got the same
die, I believe when you are also born, when you start taking your first breaths, and when you sleep, you release endogenous DMT. But there's also another way you can do it besides taking psychedelics, and that's through breath work and meditation. And what I had mistaken for with my teacher was probably just exhaustion and a little bit of like delirium. I was at 2,300 meters. This is 2,500 meters where I'm at now. And it was after Ashtanga. This was after a hike. But that was not what I just experienced. I would compare what I just experienced to the DMT force with Seb that when he does the breath work and we're all in front of the bayou and it's 50, 60 people from the city, 100 people from the city in front of the stage. Well, I was doing breath work in that scenario. I guess just the intensity of that social circumstance and so many people meditating. I was able to exhale with the shoulders down with the technique I just showed you guys. And there was the same release of this fluid, spinal cerebral fluid, from behind my sinuses. Except it was more potent. I could taste it more strongly the first time versus just now. But that makes sense because I've been running and working out a lot, and so I've been draining a lot of mucus and fluids, which of course we also do release neurochemicals in our sweats and in our pheromones and things like this. So I believe there might have been a concentration that first time, but this time it was very very subtle but still recognizable.
I don't think you're gonna fall off that rock.
Oh, that's
And the thing was, it was without psychedelics. It's a natural occurring process that I believe has something to do with a form of healing that most likely, taking into consideration the circadian rhythm, most people will not be able to release endogenous DMT without breath work unless they're asleep, unless they're falling asleep, because only when you're asleep does the body relax enough to be able to go into the state of breath work or breathing, where it will release naturally the cerebral fluid that contains the DMT. Unless you go into a trance and you through breath work and meditation. Because you have to be able to relax the body while it's awake, in a wakeful state, and that is the practice of meditation and samadhi. That is the attainable goal. That's why I said it's like waking up in a dream to realize you're still in a dream, but now you know you're in a dream. So with that being said, my phone is going to die and I need the battery, but thank you so much for allowing me to share that experience with you guys. And if you're following that breath work, I'm going to go ahead and make another one of these follow-up videos for exactly what I just experienced here on Mount Sanitas? I've just been saying Mount Sinai. So I'm gonna practice this technique that I just kind of stumbled upon, that I guess I've just been working on for many years. But now finally I've put it into words and I've got it recorded on the video. So we're gonna do it again and we're gonna see what the results are, but I'm also gonna share this because it's one thing to be able to make personal goals and accomplishments, it's another to be able to share that and document it. So we're on our way down. Nama Om, Namaste, Hare Krishna, Shabbat Shalom, Assalamualaikum, Konnichiwa, Ni hao, adios, ciao.